We have experienced many African revolutionaries that taught us how to take our power, how to go against the system, rebel against the system, to not conform, how to speak up for the barbarism, atrocity, and the injustices that is happening to the African consciousness. But how many leaders have we experienced? How many revolutionaries have we experienced that spoke about healing, resetting, and restoring? The problem of Africa is no longer a leader that will save the nation. It's no longer a Messiah that will save the nation. It's no longer a Christ that will save the nation. Africa needs healing, restoration, so Africa can ascend and transcend survival consciousness, survival energies into flow, creativity, productivity. That is what we need. What do you think is the reason why we are building many churches and mosques and hospitals and schools instead of holistic retreats, instead of farms, instead of garden, instead of clean water, instead of maintaining the city, the forest, instead of producing livestock? Because we're still using the same survival energy that is the causation of our problem to solve the problem. I was raised and born in a highly dysfunctional family system and family cultures. And later in my life, when I became conscious and aware about things that are not being spoken about, right, I realized I might have spent most of my life in survival. Is it only me, or is many people? When you stay in survival, your brain is signaling your body that there's a threat in the environment. Your body starts to produce stress hormones, the popular one we all know called the cortisol. And scientifically, if you endure survival for a short time, it's harmless to your overall well-being. But when you when you stay in survival for a prolonged period of time, you start to deteriorate yourself. It's like present self-destructing mood. And that is the state of Africa right now. And this self-destructive mood is covered with building more churches, because we think the more we preach about the God outside to people, people will begin to change and start becoming responsible over their life and over the land. We start building hospitals because we think if we could produce more hospital facilities, maybe people will become conscious of their health. We start building more schools, thinking if we teach more children about the system and how to play, then we can restore ourselves. That is never the way. And sometimes it kind of shocked me to realize how many people doesn't know that is never the way. We need to heal on the mental level, emotional level, cellular level, physical level, environmental level, because the earth is sick and tired of exploitation. And come to think of it, how did we come to the realization of exploiting the land just to create the hierarchy and the 99 kind of thing? Who brought those ideas? And do we even need to live the way we're living on this abundant, flourishing, nurturing planet? Do we need to do that? Is it natural that we've created a pyramid structure that has the 1% living the luxuries and the 99 serving them? No, that is not how earth operates. Every fruit that you consume Every plant that you see has its own divine signature, and some of this signature we see spiral pattern, meaning the earth is not a pyramid structure, it's a spiral planet, meaning when you affect the 0 point or the middle point, it goes against it, skyrockets and create ripple effect to the rest of it. That is why species need to work together to maintain balance on this earth. So no one begin to self-destruct, because once the self-destruction comes from the 0 point, the middle point, it will spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral and to infinity. This is why we have a whole ocean of problem, infinite problem, distraction, suffering, pain, disease in our current life. I don't know if I'm the only one seeing it. People are suffering, and they numb the suffering with the belief that there is a better place after death. They will go and enjoy. This is why they hopelessly depend on religion, depend on their pastors, because they know they are in pain and suffering and in fear, but they are looking for hope of a better place. This is one of the greatest lies we are told. When the better place has been the present moment, this gift of life, this planet, this mother nature, mother Gaia, we need to start taking responsibility and accountability upon and start healing it, so we can reverse that spiral distraction into healing distraction, into flourishing, nurturing energy, so people are not falling sick anymore. Therefore, we don't need big money to create big hospitals. People are not hopelessly dependent on an external God or an imaginary God, so they can start protecting the one they have, Mother Nature. People are not hopelessly dependent on formal education just to learn the tricks to be workers or backbiters or conformists. So they will know you have two sides of your brain. One is for logic, creativity, intuition, and you can use both sides of the brain to manifest your own heaven that will serve your neighbor. And your neighbors are not just another human being next door. Your neighbors are everything: the plant, the butterfly, the lizard, the snake, the snow, the fishes. Everything is your neighbor. At some point, humans begin thinking we are the only entitled people that need to enjoy the goodies of nature, and we are the only chosen of God, Mother Nature. You are not the only chosen. Everything is chosen. Everything is alive. And when you start to heal yourself, like I started a few years ago, I realized I was self-destructing. I was losing my shape. I was losing my natural original color. I was losing my authentic rhythm. I was losing my creativity. I started reversing the process to a form where now I feel highly in tune with my original divine self and highly connected to the God that people are out there seeking and calling some of us lost and distracted. So sometimes when I go out there and people ask me, what tribe are you? I'm like, I'm an African. What religion do you belong to? I said, I'm an African. And they kind of, oh, what do you mean you're an African? You don't belong to any tribe, no religion. Yes, because people are living based on false identity. They don't see the soul, they don't see the divinity within things. You must belong to a limited perspective of life. You must belong to a certain culture, a certain tribe, which I do not condemn, because I think that's part of the human experience. But if we are not able to integrate our experience beyond that, we will continue to exploit this planet, exploit even our own selves. We are exploiting ourselves. What do you think you're doing when you go out there to buy that pomade that bleach your skin and bleach your hair? You're exploiting yourself. We will keep exploiting and exploiting until we destroy everything, and now we start living in distraction, which is already happening. Go out there in the mainstream hospitals and see how many people are queued for consultation looking for a doctor. Go out there and see. That is the physical manifestation of the distraction we have called upon ourselves. We need more revolutionaries that are not just speaking about take your power, blah, 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 that are healers, healing their own body, their own mind, their own environment. Revolutionaries that are teaching example how to farm, how to garden, how to create, how to do this, because that is the balance that is missing and lacking on this planet. You know, when was the last time you saw an orange tree with oranges that you don't need to buy to consume? I'm grateful for the owner of this apartment. He is so reasonable. He planted oranges. I don't buy oranges. It's just a matter of season until I get oranges. So imagine if you grew an orange tree, she grew a mango tree, he grew pineapple tree. Imagine the abundance of healing and restoration that will come upon Mother Nature. And for those of you who are looking up to the government and blah, 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 they are the ones that don't want you to live in peace and harmony with the land. That is why they claim the land for greedy and selfish things only. But when you, the people, claim back the land and start being what's right, no matter how little it is, you can just take a little canister and start nesting tomato and grow it in a canister, even if you don't have a soil around you. Whatever you have to do to heal the world by healing yourself, then you realize why Michael Jackson said, there is a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place can be brighter than tomorrow. Then you realize that some of these musicians, artists, or whatever, they saw the solution and they were communicating with you, but you were so busy in distraction and false identity, and you forgot that I am here to remind you to enforce that it's time for us to heal ourselves so we can heal Africa. Namaste. I know you can do it. Some of you, you listen, you pick the signal, and it start with you to change the whatever population of the planet that we have. Start with you. Namaste. Like, follow, and subscribe for more.